Okay, hi guys, and welcome to the show. And before we get into today's episode, I want to share with you something very interesting indeed. Now, this is the Daniel Wellington Bristol, or Classic Bristol, apparently. Now, just look at that design, right? So, how much does this retail for? $229. If we go over to Amazon, this is a Tissot every time. This is not a Chinese mass-produced fashion watch. This, as you guys know, Tissot is a fantastic, one of my favorite entry-level Swiss brands. Now, this is sold out. However, if we read down here, where is it? Here, where is it? There's a review. Very classic and fancy, blah, 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 blah. This person paid $135. It has sapphire glass. It is, of course, a Swiss-made quartz. But look what they wrote. If you're looking for an affordable quartz watch, look no further. This is a way better option than going for designer watch like Ferrari, Armani, Exchange, Hugo Boss, Guess, Nautica, etc., etc. So here we have a traditional, legendary, and one of my favorite entry-level Swiss brands offering something actually more affordable than the Daniel Wellington. Anyway, guys, I thought I'd start with that. So let's roll the intro and get on with today's show. Okay, hi guys, and welcome to the show. So today I'm going to attempt to tackle a subject I have been asked countless times. Probably, actually, to be honest, I get asked what my opinion is on fashion watches literally every single day. The big elephant in the room, a bit of a controversial subject, but actually I feel it needs to be addressed first of all, because it is part of horology, if we like to admit it or not. Also, it kind of illustrates some interesting aspects of the watch industry that need to be discussed. Anyway, I've got to do wristwatch check. I was wearing the Squally this morning, although I changed to the Bond, not the Bond, sorry, to the Seamaster. This is my little baby blue. I've put it today on the Bond, that's why I'm thinking of Bond, on the Bond NATO strap. I think it works. I don't know, guys. Do you think it works? I'm trying to do the Bond with the 70s Seamaster. I think it works. Anyway, I'm loving it, and I guess that's what's important at the end of the day. So let's dive in. Now, I've made some quick notes because I feel there is some really important points to discuss here. So first of all, let's identify exactly what a fashion watch is. And probably the watch I get asked the most about is Daniel Wellington. There is, of course, movement watches, or MVMT. There are Michael Kors watches. I've actually brought in my wife's. This is actually, it's not that bad. We'll get onto that in just a moment. It does embody a lot of the characteristics that I don't find that amiable or respectable about fashion watches, and actually some traits that I do. Armani, Hugo Boss, of course. There are two types of key characteristics I've noticed about fashion watches, right? They tend to be, as the name suggests, based on current trends or styles that are very much in vogue at the moment. Daniel Wellington and movement watches in particular personify this perfectly. This kind of very minimalist. I see them everywhere. I think they're probably the most worn watch I see here in New York, especially by hipsters for some reason. They should know better. Because hipsters tend to be a little bit more kind of finicky about their sartorial choices, although it seems horology has kind of missed that generation. But anyway, yeah, and then of course you've got the clothes brands, the Armanis, the Guccis, and that kind of thing. But one characteristic they all do have in common, aesthetics aside, is they are based on very affordable to make quartz for the most part. The Michael Kors here absolutely you know, is guilty of this. Is quartz a bad thing? Not at all. I mean, if we look at the tank, for example, the Cartier tank, you could say, well, isn't that a fashion watch? Because Cartier is a fashion brand at the end of the day, although this is an exception. This still has a lot of traditional watchmaking involved. The blued hands, for example. Yes, it's a quartz, but it's a high quality Swiss-made quartz. Also the expertise and craftsmanship and the high standard of quality in the materials, just the general luxurious standards that this is made to. And let's not forget the tank. When was it? 1916 or 1917? I forget. Guys, do correct me. It's 100 years basically that this watch has been going, and hasn't really changed that much since the original. So this is kind of excused. Also, Cartier are capable of making some beautiful watches. They've had almost, well, over 100 years of experience making traditional watchmaking. So there is traditional watchmaking even in this quartz. So the argument that, oh, well, anything quartz is a fashion watch, absolutely null and void. Look at my Flighty, for example, the Seiko Flighty, the SNA 411. Yes, I remember the reference number, yay. The quartz suits its style and purpose perfectly. Proof that an affordable, because this is what? This is over $1,000 to $2,000. So price and quartz bears no relation. So the fact that it's the Seiko is a cheap, well, I shouldn't say cheap, affordable quartz, again, proves the point that it doesn't have to be an expensive quartz not to be considered a fashion watch. So the Seiko Flightmaster is not a fashion watch, it's a tool watch. I think what really defines a fashion watch is the fact that it's got to be a brand that doesn't have heritage in traditional watchmaking. It's just branding, you know, like Armani stuck. The Armani brand stuck onto the face of a relatively affordable quartz watch with not much traditional watchmaking involved. So it's a mix of the lack of heritage and cheap or affordable to manufacture. So those are the key characteristics. Now, what do I think of, you know, Daniel Wellington and Movement and, you know, all these watch brands? Well, as always, guys, I can only talk about watches I've had experience with. I've only ever handled a few fashion watches in, I think, Macy's a long time ago. I can say I was not impressed with the Michael Kors. I can certainly say, although it is rather tastefully done, it's a bit of a homage of all kinds of. It's got a little bit of Cartier in there with the numerals. It's got a little bit of Rolex there with the fluted bezel. In terms of the quality, it's horrendous, I got to say, especially because I know how much my wife paid for this. And that is my main issue with fashion brands, is the cost of them. They seem to think just because they're offering their brand on the dial, they can charge $200-300 even for the watch. I know a lot of channels bash fashion watches, especially the Daniel Wellingtons. Excuse me about the sound, there's some construction going on, I'll carry on. I know what some watch channels really get snooty about fashion watches, especially the Daniel Wellingtons and the Movement watches. But look, let's be honest, they have been extremely successful, and anytime anything is successful, we've got to respect it. We've got to understand why. It shows, it proves that even a time when watch sales are really at a low, fashion watch brands are selling strong, and that proves that there is a demand, that the traditional watch companies are not capturing the hearts and minds, to use a I never thought I'd use that term, but yeah, they have to capture the hearts and minds of the consumer. People are willing to spend a few $100s, but they're not informed to the fact that there are tons of icons, real horological icons out there for even less money than a Michael Kors. At the end of this video, I will suggest 6 brands to look out for, so we'll come back to that in a moment. You know, don't be angry at the fashion watches. Be mad at the traditional watch companies that are doing a bad job at not reaching out to the next generation. What, you know, for example, today I was watching a video on YouTube about computer games. I was looking for some new computer games to buy, and basically the host, there are 3 people hosting this video, and not one of them, all younger than myself, and not one of them was wearing a watch. Why is this happening? Why are the traditional watch brands not reaching out to this generation? And I know, yeah, the common excuse, oh, well, I don't need a watch, I check my phone. Right there's a big issue, because doing that takes 2 seconds. We all know that. Obviously, and this is an automatic piece. If we forget about servicing it for every 5, 7, possibly even more years, I don't have to plug this in at night to recharge. Yes, the phone is more accurate, but that argument, it's null and void. It just shows that there is not a concerted effort among the traditional watch brands, the real watchmakers, right? To reach out to this generation, to teach them about the tradition, the wonder, the refinement of wearing a watch. And they mistakenly think, oh, well, this watch costs thousands of dollars. No, the other day I bought an Omega for a couple of $100. A vintage Omega that I can hand down to the next generation, that I can be proud of. A real part of traditional watchmaking. Beautiful manual wind movement from 1950s. Something you can wear at a black tie and every day absolutely fine. A couple of $100. The same price as this. Actually, I think this is only $50 cheaper than the Omega I bought. So there is no excuse. There really isn't. So we really mustn't hate on the fashion watch brands, because they provided watches to a whole demographic that the traditional watch companies didn't even know existed. There still are people that want or need a traditional watch. So there's a lot of discourse here between the industry and the consumers. It proves that people are still willing to spend money on watches. Yeah, okay, not thousands of dollars, but it's a start. Do you know how many people message me every day saying, oh, well, they used to wear a Daniel Wellington, or they used to wear this, and they bought their first Saab, or they bought their first SKX, and it's changed their whole perception. They feel part of a community. They found or discovered a love that they didn't know. They get into the hobby. It's fantastic. It's amazing. It makes my day. Actually inspires me to make more videos. And that's what it's all about. If I can inspire a handful of people to start looking at traditional watches every day, then my job's complete. Why isn't the traditional watchmaking world doing this? Why is my channel, and let's be honest, it's tiny in the whole scheme of things. Watches still very much is a niche genre, just like, I don't know, fountain pens, but it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. The industry should be engaging with the young people. The industry should be on YouTube. The industry should be making this video right now. The industry should be explaining to the people out there the benefits, the tradition, the wonder, the refinement, the joy of wearing real watches. And it doesn't have to be, an Omega, a couple of grand on a, well, actually I think I paid $1,200 for this. Bargain. So it doesn't have to be a $1,200 Omega diver. It could be a $10, the Casio F91W, one of the most iconic watches ever made. $10, a real piece of horological history. Price bears no relation. Okay, so actually, talking of examples, let's move on to discuss 6 brands you need to check out before you buy that fashion watch. First of all, Citizen, great Japanese brand. They really made some big changes horologically with their Eco Drive, a fantastic innovative technology. It's made some of their most accurate and reliable watches very affordable. If you want an icon, check out the NY0040. Yes, I remember the reference number. The ProMaster diver, hugely iconic, issued to the Marina Militare in Italy. I did a full review. I'll add a link up there. Also, the aviation watches are incredible. The Navihawk, the Nighthawk, the Skyhawk, countless amazing watches worn by real pilots. Let's go to Seiko. I mean, where do I start with Seiko? They rule this price category. From the Flightmaster aviation watches to the Saab 0033, one of the classiest, beautifully made watches under $500. Of course, you've got the Seiko SKX. You guys are going to roll your eyes, but one of the most iconic divers ever made. Barely $200, 200 and something dollars. You got the incredible Seiko 5s, and I'm going to say it again. Yes, it's iconic. I know I say the word again and again and again, but it is frightfully important because at the end of the day, it's an indication of a classic timepiece and proves it doesn't have to cost $1 million. What else? Oh god, there's so many. Orient, another Japanese company. You got the Bambino for half price of this Michael Kors, in-house, automatic movement, manual wind now, beautifully designed. You've got the Bauhaus ones, you've got the 1940s inspired ones, beautiful dress watches, classy, traditional. What more could you want? Orient also do the Mako Ray 2, they do the Black Ray Raven, outstanding dive watches, 200 meters water resistance, automatics, in-house again. You know, there's no excuse, the same price as the Michael Kors there. What else? Okay, then we're moving into the Swiss brands. Oris, there are a ton of fantastic Orises. I spotted I think a very simple date Oris on Amazon going for about $400. Swiss made, independent brand for over 100 years, tastefully done, the quality is there, automatic, incredible value for money, one of the best entry-level Swiss brands out there. Moving on, another Swiss brand is Hamilton, of course. They offer a ton. I mean, we've got one right here. This is the hugely iconic Murph watch from Interstellar. This is $460 odd, I think. Automatic, quality aviation watch. Gorgeous. I'm about to review that, so stay tuned for the review. Hamilton probably offer the most variety. You got their military watches, you got the Khaki King, you got the standard Khaki with just the date. Huge heritage of making military watches since World War II. Barely much more than the Michael Kors, and what, $100 more than a Daniel Wellington? What else? Another Swiss brand, probably my favorite and most affordable, is Swatch. Yes, Swatch. Now, they actually, to some degree, invented the fashion watch. They are affordable quartz movements in a watch that is very much of the moment. However, there's a big difference because Swatch, actually, the word itself is an amalgamation of second watch, Swatch. It's supposed to be disposable, it's supposed to be affordable. You buy it to match your outfit, next year buy another one. Affordable and fun, and that's what they're supposed to be. However, they've also become extremely collectible. You will never see a Michael Kors Chinese-made fashion watch be collectible. This right here is a completely original Keith Haring. Swatch actually teamed up with artists, with brands, all kinds of kind of pop culture icons, and these have become extremely desirable. In fact, I don't even wear this one. I keep it in a safe because it is actually worth something now. It's ironic, crazy, I know. I also have a little jellyfish from 1998. This is a beautiful, completely transparent piece. Obviously as jellyfish, as the name implies. But you can pick these up for 30, 50 bucks on eBay. Very fun, very affordable, and in a way, a true fashion watch. They're not just branding on a dial. They are actually objects of design. They are little mini artworks and a great way to express yourself in a fun, affordable way. But yeah, so those are 6 brands I recommend before you go into Macy's. Just think about it, because you can buy a true piece of horological history, something that embodies watchmaking, the true craft of watchmaking, for the same, even for less money. So guys, I hope this is reaching the buying public out there. You can get something like this, the Seiko Saab 033, which is a beautiful, beautiful watch, which will last you a lifetime. It will last you a lifetime. This is not gonna last. What's the price difference? $50. At the end of the day, I mean, you divide that $50 difference along the years that you're gonna enjoy this, or even your kids. Anyway guys, let me know your thoughts. What defines a fashion watch in your eyes? What do you feel about fashion watches? Do you love them? Are there any fashion watches that really do have a bit of pedigree, a bit of horological kind of watchmaking involved that I should check out? Thank you very, very much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and found it useful. And as always guys, I will catch you in the next one. Okay, ciao.